Alright, so today we're going to be explaining one of the more ancient and mysterious clans in Naruto, and that is that of the Ōtsutsuki clan, right? So this Ōtsutsuki clan is a clan of ancient celestial beings in Naruto, which are instantly recognized by their pale skin and the fact that they all pretty much have access to the Byakugan. Some of them have access to the Rinnegan, and Ishiki has his own Dojutsu, right? So for thousands of years, they've traveled through the cosmos to enact their will, which was essentially to consume the chakra fruits of other worlds in order to increase their power, their longevity, and in order to do this, they find worlds where they can plant a 10-tail sapling, and it eventually grows into what is known as the God Tree. Now, to make this tree grow, a living Ōtsutsuki must actually be sacrificed to it. So, as a result, they typically travel in pairs, and one of them is brought as the sacrifice to be eaten, so the other can gain power. And typically, the Ōtsutsuki that's sacrificed can utilize a karma seal. I have a video on that if you guys want to go check that out, in order to revive themselves. That's why the Ōtsutsuki have been living for so long, is because they can imbue other organisms with their karma seal, so they can eventually reincarnate themselves into that person, right? Now, Kage was sent to Earth with Ishiki to harvest its chakra fruit, but she became attached to the planet and deviated from the plan, abandoning Ishiki and leaving him on the verge of death in the process, where he found a monk named Jigen and shrunk inside of his ear using a special Dojutsu ability, embedded him with his own karma seal, where he would continue to control him for many years to come. Now, Kage, on the other hand, consumed the chakra fruit on her own and used her newfound abilities to create an infinite Tsukiyomi, which is a genjutsu, to cause world peace, and she eventually gave birth to Hagoromo and Hamura. Now, Hagoromo and Hamura were born with their own chakra, and they saw the error of their mother's ways, so they eventually grew and fought against her, where she eventually merged with the God Tree to become the 10 Tails. Now, when Hagoromo awakened the Rinnegan, they were actually able to defeat their mother. The chakra was sealed into Hagoromo, while the outer path husk was sealed into a Chibaku Tensei on the moon, where it would be looked over by Hamura. Now, before being sealed away, Kage actually created a black Zetsu, which is essentially a parasitic being whose sole purpose is to eventually revive her. Now, Hamura's descendants on Earth eventually became more diluted and became known as the Hyuga clan and inherited the Byakugan, while the rest of them went to the moon with Hamura. Now, Hagoromo began his own teachings on Earth, known as Ninshu, to enforce peace and tranquility, before it was eventually repurposed later on by ninjas and became known as ninjutsu. So to further make sure that his mother never came back, he split the 10 Tails chakra into 9 individual tailed beasts. And Hagoromo himself also eventually had 2 kids, Indra and Ashura, who would wage constant war with one another because of differing values. And it's worthy to note that Hagoromo entrusted Ashura with his softer heart, although his elder brother Indra was much more talented and was known as one of the first geniuses in the franchise. Now, because most Dojutsus come from the Ōtsutsuki, Indra actually inherited the Mangekyo Sharingan, and Ashura actually inherited 6 Path Senjutsu from his father. Now, the descendants of Indra would go on to create the Uchiha clan, because they all seem to have inherited the Sharingan, and the descendants of Ashura became known as the Senju clan, who are also related to the Uzumaki clan as well. Now, Indra and Ashura's chakras would both be reincarnated over time, even though their bodies died, and Indra became reincarnated as Madara and later Sasuke Uchiha, and Ashura would later reincarnate himself into Hashirama Senju and later Naruto Uzumaki. Now, it's worthy to note that even if an Ōtsutsuki has not placed a karma seal on anyone, some of them can still transcend time a little bit, kind of like how Hagoromo was able to visit Naruto and Sasuke in the present day, although his body perished very long ago and he was able to imbue them with some of his power. Alright, now I'm going to be talking about some Boruto spoilers, so if you guys aren't really caught up, now's your only warning. So essentially, after the 4th Shinobi War, we see that there are still descendants of Hamura on the moon, such as Toneri, and we do see the introduction of another Dojutsu, the Tenseigan, which is implied to be possessed by Hamura. And Toneri, which was one of the descendants, was the main antagonist of the movie The Last, but he wasn't too much of an issue because he was a foe that was defeated relatively easily. And that kind of brings us to the present. During the 7th Hokage's era, Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki in the anime all came to Earth to see what was kind of going on with Kage and Ishiki, and they fought against Naruto, Sasuke, and the current Kage, but they actually died, but not before passing a karma seal onto Naruto's son Boruto. Now, Ishiki, who was originally Kage's partner, is still in the body of Jigen. He was performing experiments in order to find out who his perfect vessel would be, until he found Kawaki. And after a fight with Baryon Mode Naruto, Ishiki was actually defeated and entrusted his Otsutsuki will to Code, which was his surviving failed vessel. Now, there's actually a lot we still don't know about them as a whole, because that's kind of an ongoing theme in the Boruto franchise, but we do know that they have access to other dimensions, in which we can see these massive stone tablets with these engravings of each main branch Otsutsuki. Now, in these inscriptions, we have Kaguya, Ishiki, Momoshiki, and Kinshiki with 2 mystery Otsutskis. Now, if you have any idea who you think these could be, just be sure to let me know down below. I think they're probably 2 future threats that may still show up, but I'll definitely be sure to let you know. Now, if you guys like more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If I missed anything, definitely be sure to let me know down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.